The fact is, deaf persons cannot learn the spoken languages.
How do I communicate with the deaf?
Because I don't know. I haven't studied the sign language. Sometimes it's difficult.
My name is Michael. I am deaf. Deaf people all across the world live active lifestyles just like hearing people. I am gainfully employed. I have a wonderful family. However, the plight of deaf persons in Ghana continue to worsen, with communication being a major issue confronting us, and with several deaf people remaining unemployed. The rights of all deaf persons must be respected.
My name is Juventus Dorina. I'm the Executive Director of the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, GNAD. GNAD is an organization for deaf people in Ghana. We focus on deaf people to get access to public services like employment, social participation, healthcare, and political participation. GNAD was established in 1968, 52 years ago. For the past 52 years, the organization has done a lot of advocacy work. So our members now have an opportunity to get decent employment, quality health care. We have seen an improvement as an organization and in the life of our members. The number of deaf people and deaf children in school has increased. And deaf people have now gained decent employment, unlike in the past. The same goes with quality health care. I want to seize this opportunity to thank all organizations who work with GNAD for the past 52 years. I want to thank all individuals as well and organizations who supported us to reach this far. In order to get communication access, we want government to recognize sign language as official language. And we encourage all stakeholders that they should provide sign language interpreters so that deaf people will benefit like the hearing people. However, I want to say that all the successes that we have chalked depend on your support and sign language interpreter services. For example, institutions are providing sign language interpreter services, but they are doing this on charity basis. There's no law that compels them to do it. Some of the institutions can provide the interpreter services. They can choose not to also provide. That is why we're advocating that we need the sign language to become an official language for deaf people, just like any other language, to enable deaf people get access to communication, education, healthcare, and employment.
Deaf people are one of the most marginalized groups within the disability community. According to the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, an estimated number of 110,625 people, or 0.4% of Ghana's population of 29 million people, are deaf. The Ghana Statistical Service, however, reports a figure of 211,712 deaf people in Ghana. The past few decades have seen unprecedented efforts by the international community to legally recognize the linguistic rights of the deaf community.
The challenge facing us now is opening new models, but getting training, master trainers, is a problem, because when you contact the master trainer, a hearing person, all that he says that, how do I communicate with the deaf? Because I don't know the sign language.
The fact is, deaf persons cannot learn the spoken languages. It is the regular persons who hear who can learn the sign language in order to make Ghana a better place for all of us. In fact, deaf persons are also Ghanaians, and we all have to enjoy in the country, just as each and everyone walks about freely. Should a deaf person walk to the bank, any public place, to the market, to even the assemblies, the teachers here will have to go with them and interpret. Why? Because the public places, they don't even have interpreters there, because it has not become legal, it has not become national for each and every public office to get a sign language interpreter.
Here in Ho, we train nurses for both the diploma programs and the certificate programs. A few years back, the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Ghana introduced sign language into the curriculum alongside French. These languages, the council thought, would be very useful for the nurse in practice.
Evidence from the World Federation of the Deaf, WFD, indicated that as of December 2017, 41 countries have recognized their national sign languages. Educational development in Ghana has seen considerable improvement over the last few decades.
I'm a deaf person, but I have a speech. I use an interpreter on a campus. See, without the interpreter, I couldn't be a lecturer. But with the interpreter, I'm able to communicate with everybody on campus. For all my students are hearing students. I don't have deaf students in my class, but with the interpreter, I'm able to communicate with them. In fact, I do everything with them. Yes, in fact, I teach a lot more courses and everything spoken, but with the interpreter, I'm able to convey all the information that the student need to them, and the student questions through the interpreter. I receive them and I do everything with the student without any problem. This means that there is something very important that is helping me there, and that is what the sign language and the interpreter. I couldn't be doing this. So the sign language is very, very important to deaf people in the deaf community. Sign language is very, very important.
I started sign language so many years back, from 2009. I started learning the sign with the deaf at my church where I fellowship. There we have a lot of deaf people, that is Church of Christ. So I started learning the sign from church. So the deaf taught me. And then along the line, I realized that, it's a good thing, because before then, what actually pushed me to learn sign language was a deaf person actually beat me before, because someone told me if you see a deaf person, you put a leaf in your mouth, then you wave your hand like this. Not knowing it's an insult. So I did that, and a deaf person chased me and beat me. That has given me the motivation to get close to them. And being with them, it's so wonderful. So I took the challenge from there to start learning the sign. And I joined Ghana National Association of the Deaf, that is NAD. We have their branches in Volta region, which is VRAD. So I joined them, and they organize a workshop and seminars for us, which we attend, and then that is where they build our capacity in sign language. So along the line, I realized that no, sign language should be part of me, because I enjoyed signing.
Gross enrollment rate has also increased at all levels, with secondary education recording an upward increase from 57% in 2012 to 73% in 2017. These achievements are attributed to a series of government policies on education, to which emphasis was placed on the language of instruction.
If French can be learned in Ghana, policy makers make it mandatory for everybody to learn French now. Why can't they make it mandatory for everybody to even learn sign language at the basic level? These are things that can be done. But if there is no law, you cannot force these things to take place. If you take, we have a school here in Wa, which is run by the Catholic Church, Ansela. They have introduced sign language in the school there, and the children are doing very well. They can communicate with our children without an interpreter. If just a small church, or let me say just one church in Ghana can do this, why can't Ghana do it? It's a matter of the policy. If there's a law backing it, sign language should be introduced in all public schools, and government provides the needed personnel. I think it can be done.
Actual school is an equal opportunity environment. Every child is welcome. We don't discriminate against anybody. In the school where I did my student teaching, I observed that they had a place for children with mental retardation, These children were included. Teachers came in, specialists, they came in to help children. So when I came to the school, when the school started with me. I just was wondering, I kept wondering why we don't have such opportunity in our environment. I believe the facilities are not yet there now, but I still believed that we could do something. And for that matter, I looked around and I discovered we had 2 special education schools here, School for the Blind and Wild Deaf School. And then looking at people with hearing impairment, I just felt it would be easier if they came to our compound to have an interaction with our children. So I invited some to come and interact with us. And then I discovered that if we allowed the children to also learn the language, our interactions will be better. And so we started. And for the time, we have children studying special education from kindergarten to primary 6. They do examinations in sign language. They study sign language. The teachers come to teach them sign language. And the children, now they are speaking sign language. They are signing. We are signing in our school.